Hi, good afternoon. This is the Composite, and we are in season 4, episode 2. So let's get after it, all right? If you've been here before, if you've watched the playbacks, welcome back. Squad life, all right? If you're new, so what is the Composite? It is a talk show of sorts. I'm an English teacher that talks trash on the internet, so here's what you have. All right, so I hope everyone's doing well this Saturday afternoon, okay? Now, I am outside on my balcony here, in front of my apartment, well, in the back of my apartment, yeah. But here's the thing. I'm not sure how many more episodes I'm going to do outside. It seems like we're going into a scorching heat wave. I was a little dubious about this setup, which is why I'm 10 minutes late because I was going to come out here and the sun was just beaming directly down, and it just occurred to me I needed more sunscreen. So I went and took care of that. I encourage you all to take care of that. All right. So yes, we're out here and we are ready to go. All right. So many exciting things to talk about. So many exciting things coming up for the show. We're growing, and starting out with announcements. We have our first official interview. Yes, it is going to be on Friday, June 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And who am I interviewing? I am interviewing a writer friend, Jasmine McMullen. She is recently published in an anthology. She's giving readings. She's teaching. She's doing all the damn things. And so we're going to take about 15 minutes or to 20 minutes, depending. It's flexible. My first time doing this. Anyway, we're going to take some time on Friday, June 21st at 5 p.m. to celebrate her work, ask her some questions, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it, to, giving something different in this space other than kind of like a video diary. But that's super exciting. Other announcements here. I wrote notes that are not going to blow away. If you saw last episode, my notes blew away. But other things, right? So this is season 4, episode 2 right now. Season 4, episode 3 will be on Tuesday, June 18th. All right. Episode 4 will be Thursday, the 20th, and then the interview on the 21st. So we will have 3 episodes next week. So yeah, it's picking up for summertime, and looking forward to sharing all of that with you. What I'm going to do is, after finish this episode today, I'll do a formalized ad later this evening, give you access to her bio, some pics. But yes, a really wonderful writer and an amazing, authentic, compassionate vibe. Jasmine is a vibe, all right? And, you'll be seeing more of her, I'm sure, in the very near future. So you should get to know her now, all right? So again, June 21st, check us out, all right? Super excited about that. All right, so what have I been up to since last week? So season 4, episode 1, right? That was last Saturday, so it's been a week since that episode. It wouldn't post. I was so heated because, again, if you've been following this, I've already lost like 2 or 3 episodes of like 45-minute plus episodes that I couldn't get back out of Instagram. So I was like determined. I'm like, no, I'm not, going to post again. I need to get this episode. And it kept having this error message, but miraculously, like a few hours ago, I was able to download it. So I'm so happy about that, because it was going to be so janky. What I was going to do is like set up my iPad and play that episode and then just freaking tape it with this phone right here. It was getting desperate. So I'm glad I was able to get that fixed. So that's up here on this account as opposed to the wrong account. I have a personal account that's private. When I started doing the show a little over a year ago, I didn't know, what direction I wanted to take it in or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me make a separate account. But then, making a separate account, you just have to always remember that you're in the right account when you're filming. So we live and learn. Womp womp. All right, other things. The semester is almost over. So those episodes next week, like I said, the interview will be at 5 p.m. on Friday. The other 2 episodes, I'm not 100% sure on the time, but the semester is almost over. So once I'm done teaching, I'll be able to, on Sundays, post the show schedule for the week. Still haven't found my sweet spot, but I think my boss will give me my teaching schedule for the fall pretty soon. So I'll be able to be more consistent. Still working on moving, looking for apartments. So it's been busy. And, one thing that I wanted to share is, commuting publicly, right, has really, in some regards, reconnected me to civilization. The pandemic went a little longer for me. It was hard to get back into the swing of just being around people again. And I was driving to work and driving home, and then pretty much the only people that I was talking to were, family and friends that would call, and then folks at work. But, now I take my earbuds out. I'm looking at people, I'm reading, I'm writing, and it's just some of the stuff that I'm noticing. I'm just kind of like, I knew we were all bad with this phone situation. So earlier this month, last weekend actually, I had decided I wanted to do partially phone-free weekends, right? And so I was like, okay, what I'll do is Fridays after 7 p.m., I won't be on my phone. And then let's say Saturdays until sorry, my nose is itching. Saturday until, let's say, about 5 p.m., leave my phone off. And then Sundays, until 3 p.m., leave my phone off. And, just to see what happens, right? Can I meditate, use more time to write? Because I just really need time to keep writing and working on my short story collection and my novel. And then, so I tried that last weekend. Pardon me. Goodness. Sorry. It's it's not allergies, and it's definitely not boogers. Because I'm just I would die if I had something hanging out of my nose during these broadcasts. It's so real. But I don't know, what it is, and my notes are about to blow away again. Okay. It's still not coordinated. We just keep working on it. Okay, back to the story. So I tried the partially phone-free thing, and it was way, way harder than I anticipated. And so I'm going to go back to it tomorrow. So, I was on my phone last night, and then I'm on my phone right now so I can do the show. But then tomorrow I'll try to, be phone-free until 3 or 4 or whatever it is that I said. And, just to see what happens. But we're in that cyborg territory. We're really connected because, when I'm walking around and trying to make these different trains and buses, people are just like this. They don't look up at all. They run right into you. And so the other part of the story is I've got, let's say, 2 or 3 more days to keep traveling through Penn Station. I refuse to call it Moynihan Hall. So I'll be traveling through Penn Station in New York, and I think I'm going to start hanging outside to wait for my train, because the stuff that's happening in Penn Station, it's really heartbreaking. There's a homeless man that I've seen a couple of times there, and he and I have chatted a little bit. And he's super friendly. I gave him the very last of my change, because I'm just people are literally just stepping over him. And I don't say that from a place of I'm better, because I don't, but just some of this shit is unnecessary. If you see a person, if there's space to go around, just go around. And I mean, I wouldn't step over somebody if I was packed in. I would try to wait for an entry point. If you're familiar with New York, you know, like, it's just the traffic patterns in Penn Station are crazy, right? Because you have New Jersey Transit, you have the Long Island Railroad, and Amtrak, all of which I've had to ride in the last month to get where I'm going. So I'm getting to see all of these different pockets of the station, and the same thing is happening. You're stepping over a human person. And it's just kind of like, really? Damn. And it's just, there are so many homeless. I know people say unhoused. I think I've talked about this before. It just, to me, is a little, it doesn't emphasize how much of a societal shame that it is for someone to be unhoused. So that's why I still say homeless. I know that there's probably going to be some political reason why I shouldn't, but I'm into language, and to me that seems more immediate and really emphasizes more of the crisis of it, because it is a crisis that people are stepping over folks. So that's one part of it. But the other part of it is every single day, at least 3 people. Hold on a second. Oh, the sun is back. Do. All right. Pivot. Okay. So every single day, at least 3 people have asked me for help getting home, right? So they're not asking, you know, for money for drugs, which I think is a popular talking point, you know, when people are struggling financially. Oh, they just want money for drugs and da-da-da-da. Like, no, these people were just like, can I get money to go home? And there was a woman, and she was there with her baby. And her baby's like 6 to 9 months old, and nobody would buy her a ticket. So I'm just like, well, at first I was like, well, I don't really have it like that. But then the machines, of course, you know, for New Jersey Transit, they broke down. And so I was like, well, I have to go stand in the line anyway. So I'm not going to walk past her yet again and not help her. So, you know, I gave her a ticket, but I'm just like, well, how long has she been standing here looking for help? And it's just, it is overwhelming. Like, I'm not saying that I'm doing the right thing, but it just seems like such a shame here in this country where we have so much to just walk past people and just keep it moving. Pray for them, or, you know, do you have an uneaten sandwich or something? Like, it seems heartless. I don't know, but I don't know what the better thing to do is. Like, if there was a way where like Penn Station, if there was like a foundation or something where you as a writer could give $3 to $5 and they could pool that money and then help people that are there or something. But I know stuff like that, anytime you collect money, there's, you know, administrative fees, there's rigmarole, and, you know, sometimes there's fraud. And so it's hard to take care of that, but and I mean, we oftentimes will stereotype somebody based on how they're dressed, or, you know, just how they present themselves or how they speak. But these folks that are asking for money to get home, oops, hold on a second. Yeah, my dog was overheated. Sorry. She followed me out here. She always follows me out here. She's a sweetie pie. So it's just the folks that are asking, you know, like, oh, I'm short $5, or can you buy me a ticket, or stuff like that. These are all people that look like they just got off work. So it's just like, it's bad, you guys. What are we doing? That people, you get up and you go to work every day and you can't afford to get home? It's not supposed to be like this, okay? And so what I ended up doing is there was an article that I downloaded the other day because I wanted to share it with you. Hold on a second. What I'm going to do, folks, is, sorry about the camera work. Fun fact, I had to take the case off my phone because it cracked, but I had one of those finger holders attached to the back. So in the past, when I would do the show, the finger holder would help me stabilize it. But once I took that off the case, the adhesive is gone. So I have to buy a whole new situation for that. All right. So We're a little, I'm giving you, what is it called? Like, not paranormal activity, Blair Witch. I'm giving you Blair Witch action right now, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to show you something. All right, so this is an article that I printed. Hold on. Hopefully you can see it. So, because I am a single individual, this article is quite interesting to me. And what you're seeing, folks, is a map, right? And it says the income and individual. So this is one adult person. This is the money that you need to live in each U.S. state. All right, I'm going to turn this back around. Okay, now, so where I was born and raised in New York State, right, you need on average $112,000 as a single person in order to live comfortably. Now, they're defining comfortable, as the annual income required to cover a 50-30-20 budget, allowing 50% of earnings to necessity, 30% discretional spending, and 20% to savings. So, yeah, I'll have a personal contribution about that in a second. So it's $112,000 in New York. Now, when I was a little kid, my family lived in Massachusetts for a while. Now, in Massachusetts, apparently that is the most expensive state, right? And you're looking at $116,000 for a single human being, an adult single human being, to be able to support themselves comfortably. All right. Now, other places where I've lived. So right now I live in Pennsylvania. You need $91,000. I've lived in Connecticut. You need $100,000. I've lived in... I've lived so many places. I've lived in Arkansas. Even Arkansas, you need $79,000, right? My family's in Alabama, $84,000. I've got family in Tennessee, $86,000. Family in Ohio, $81,000. And I've also lived in New Jersey. New Jersey is $103,000. So I want to read from the article and then I guess draw some conclusions here. So the article's pretty short, right? Individuals in the top 11 most expensive states in the U.S. need an annual income exceeding $100,000 to live comfortably. This map shows how much income single adults need to live comfortably in each state. And it was calculated and updated so this is from February. All right. And then the rest of it is just telling you, what I said about the 50-30-20 ratio. But like in reality, for me, it's not a 50-20, 50-30-20 ratio. Like I have zero savings. Like I can't save anything. Pretty much all of my money, right, is, housing, transportation, and bills. So I'm really at like 5% quote unquote discretionary, which is non-existent. Okay. Now, like I said, Massachusetts was the most expensive state at $116,022. Okay, so they had rounded down for the map, and that shakes out to $55.78 per hour. If you have interest in this article, it is from Voronoi, VORONOI. And it was, anybody that knows me, like if I go to a news article, I start clicking and going down the rabbit hole and end up at stuff that I want to see. So this was something that I wanted to see. So unfamiliar with the site, but I did look around for like 5 minutes. It seems fairly credible. Now, if I find out that it's not, I will come into the space and, or enter the space and make a correction. But, yeah, what it's really saying, which, I've been telling my friends, it feels like I'm being priced out of being American. And I'm not sure, where you go after that. But here's the thing. If you're someone, you go to work every day, you're not bothering anybody, you're contributing to your part of the social contract, like, you should be able to, have a modest life by yourself if that's what you want. And they're really making it so you can't. And I don't know how we get relief from that sort of thing, but it's definitely something I wanted to bring to people's attention. I haven't gotten into as much, social, political issues lately, because it's just the more that I spoke about them, the more I realized that I'm just ill-informed, and that I don't know enough. So I'm trying to learn more. But the economic part of it, I feel that on a daily basis. So I feel somewhat empowered to discuss that from an anecdotal point of view, at least. All right. So I just wanted to bring that up. Now, in a related thing, right? So because I'm thinking about, hold on a second. Wow, it is hot, y'all. I'm going to have to wrap this up. Yeah, buddy. Next week's episodes are not going to be outside. It is real in the field. Holy crap. All right, let me do this. Right? Because I didn't want my phone to melt down like it's done before. So I had the eyeglass case cloth wrapped around the phone. Yes, we are balling on a budget. All right, so let me just have a sip of water here before I say what I'm going to say. Pardon me. Okay. So it's, again, thinking about ways that I can be more engaged, helpfully, whether it's this show, whether it's donating my time, which I hope to do next month once I figure out apartment stuff or whatever not. I do want to donate some of my time. We've got a food pantry and stuff at work. So maybe that or something else. I don't know. But I feel it's time for everybody, if you have the wherewithal, to activate, in terms of whether it's a mutual aid type of thing, whether it's charity, whether it's advocacy, I don't know, but I want to do something. And so, again, if you've been watching the show, I've been busting out my tarot cards just to ask questions, and ask for guidance on some of the stuff that I've been talking to you about, okay? And even if you don't believe in divination, I believe that at a fundamental level, there's at least a meditative aspect where you can kind of clear away the clutter and at least get to your higher self, your more uninhibited and subconscious thoughts. And so perhaps that can help you make better decisions. So either way. Now, I have seen the benefits of divination in my life, so I do believe in it. So all of that being said, I was thinking about, okay, well, what kind of question can I ask today? I thought I lost my internet connection. Okay. All right. Oh, this is going to be janky, right? Because I need 2 hands to shuffle and do the card situation. All right. So I'm going to prop this up over here, and I am going to hope for the best. Okay. All right. So I've got my tarot cards. So I'm going to shuffle. And what should we ask? Something about generosity, right? Something about being helpful to others. I feel I've asked a version of that before. that's been important for me to think about, as I like help myself, and I think become more grounded as an adult human. I'm grateful for that, and it's my inclination to then want to try to help someone else. But I'm also someone who I want to win. I want to be successful in my endeavors, and so I don't want to do a thing and think, oh, I'm being helpful, and then go about my business and not really examine if it's actually moving the needle for someone or something. And I think divination helps with that as well. Okay. All right, so shuffle the cards 5 times. What do I want to ask? I think... If we're thinking about generosity, like caring for others, where do we start? Okay. Where do we start with generosity? All right, just cut the cards. Hopefully they don't blow away, because this is the only tarot deck I have. I have oracle decks, but... Ooh, I want to show you my oracle deck. Oh, this one was cool. Okay, I'm going to bring that out in a sec. All right. Where do we start as a collective with generosity? Okay? Where do we start with generosity? All right. Okay, got one card out. Oh, wow. 2 cards out. Where do we start with generosity? Oh. Wow, that is interesting. Okay. Let me do this. Oh. Yeah, not that. Inartful is most things that I do here. Okay. Give me a second, y'all. Oh, the struggle bus. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to put the cards in this envelope here so they don't blow away, you oldie tarot cards. Okay. All right, so what came out? The 8 of Cups. Okay. 8 of Cups is like when you need to abandon something and you need to walk away. Then the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands is like conflict, but like direct competition. Like it's kind of like I'm battling you for like a spot or a place somewhere. And then the Page of Wands, right? So pages, they bring messages or offers, and knights bring offers too, but the offer of a page is kind of like a bit more meager. I won't say immature, because I feel like a lot of people, when they're reading the cards, they put like a negative definition on it, and I don't want to do that if that's not really what it means. All right, so wands are like, like passion, inspiration. So Page of Wands would bring like a smaller offer of inspiration, or kind of like get up and go, if you will. So what are these 3 things, or these 3 cards, trying to tell us? Okay, so if we're thinking about folks that are not is needy, I don't even know anymore. Everything seems to be a bad term to say. So when we think about folks that are struggling, and what's a good place to start in terms of helping someone. So here it seems like we've got to walk away. Again, gotta love my cinematography. We've got to walk away from... I think a general idea that we're in competition with each other. I think that that's what it's saying. So if we walk away from a general idea that we are in competition with one another, what we are then able to do is then find the offering, right? So in this instance, the offering would be the inspiration of charity, the inspiration to help one another. So I think what it's saying is, if we want to know where to start in terms of giving, we've got to clear out the antagonistic ideas that we have in relationship to one another in society. And then ultimately that'll lead us to a place where we can offer assistance. So I think that that's what it's saying. But as I mentioned, I'm growing in my divination skills, which is a perfect segue to a mini book review that I'm about to give you here. Again, pardon as I adjust my desk here, my news desk. All right. So what is my book review? Within my commute, I've got plenty of time to read. And so a book that I'm reading right now, it might seem random, but it is called Divination for Beginners by Scott Cunningham. And I'm really, really liking it. It's very accessible. Now, I just got it like literally a few days ago. And I'm still in the beginning of it. But it's broken up in a really cool way. So, it explains, right, well, what do you even mean by the term divination? What societies divined, like, what was the purpose? And then it goes through different techniques and stuff. And then it has this cool appendix of like random divination techniques. And so as a generally curious person and as a writer, I love that shit. It's so good. Like, give you an example here. Let me go to the appendix. A lot of these, I just put exclamation points next to it because I was just imagining how did it work. All right, so the appendix, which starts on page 201, if anybody decides to get the book. And then, if you're interested in terms of where I bought it, send me a DM. I'm still new to internet shit, so I don't know, like, if you want to kind of advertise someone's store or something. Like, I don't know how to go about that. I don't want to piss anyone off or do anything illegal. So if you want to know where I got it, just send a DM. Or if this is on YouTube, just, send a note and I'll let you know. But it had all these different versions of Mancy's, right? Mancy, I think, being the suffix for divination. And this one is super cool, right? Where is... this one. Aleromancy, spelled Aleromancy. Aleromancy. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly. And this is a divination practiced with flour, right? So you put the flour out and it seems like you make balls of dough, and then you put the different options on paper and you roll it up and put it in the dough, and then you mix the balls up, right? And then you toss the balls around, and then, like, depending on what ball you get, that is the fortune, so to speak. And so this was is actually predates the fortune cookie, and the fortune cookie is not from China, by the way. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. And I'll read a couple of others here. As a writer, right, this is a cool one. Bibliomancy. A book was opened at random and the text revealed the future. Alternately, a pen was pushed into a book while closed. The book is opened and the marked passage is read. And so basically you take from that, and then that ends up being the divination, so to speak. Hold on, let me adjust the... All right. And then if you open a book at random, you close your eyes and bring your finger down to a random sentence. You count off the number of letters in the sentence and ignore the punctuation. If it's an even number, so if it's like a sentence with 6 words, then the answer to your question is yes. And then if it has an odd number of words, the answer is no. I was like, how cool is that? So that's like 3 different ways with bibliomancy that you can divine the future and whatnot. And then let's look at another cool one. Oh, this here is a whole story. And so I'll give it out as free game if anybody's interested, because I'm not going to have time to write this one. All right. Hippomancy, divination with horses. The ancient Celts kept special white horses in a sacred grove of trees. During sacred processions, the horses followed the lead cart, and the future was divined by their behavior. Oh my God, you could write so much about that, using horses to divine. Like, one of my favorite plays, Equus, I was just like, oh, you could do some Equus type shit with this. This is great. But I've just enjoyed that. And so part of the reason I'm only like in chapter 3 is because when I started, reading the appendix, I started daydreaming about all these different societies and all these different cultures and their divination practices. So I'm having a blast going through this book. Again, it's by Scott Cunningham, and it's called Divination for Beginners. And, even if you don't believe in it, if you're an imaginative person, this is going to take you to some very cool places. And also I think, the ways in which as a species, we're always on this journey for like clarity, for truth, for security, for reassurance, right? So what does it mean that people would take arrows and axes and horses and water and fire and candle wax and salt and flour? They're looking for the truth. They're looking for their future in all these different things. I love that. That's so cool. All right. So check it out if you're interested. All right. Now we are at the poetry portion of today's show. And so I knew I was going to be outside again. So today I actually printed the poems. Now, one is actually not the poem of the day. It's the poem of like a couple of days ago, because I was getting frustrated that I hadn't done a show since June 8th. So I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to do the show on the New Jersey Transit. But whether it's SEPTA or New Jersey Transit or the LIRR, public transportation is wild. Going back to what I was saying about the phones, people are just having conversations, screaming at each other on their phones, on speakerphone. They've got their music on loud, and another reason why I'm, reading and writing is I'm trying to drown out all of the background noise. There's just a part of folks that is no longer self-contained in public, and it's just people are just all over the place. They're addicted to these devices. And so what I'll do is I'll continue just to check in here and let you know how my offboarding with the phone situation is going, because one thing that I've never liked is to lose my faculties, to lose, control and possession of my own mind and thoughts. And I'm not saying that everyone that's on their phone is doing this. I think it's, and it's been proven in studies that it's like a pacifier. People, if you're feeling despair, anxiety or whatever, the phone calms you down a bit. But it really feels like it's going in that direction, that we're losing sight of or losing connection with just our own minds, our own critical thought to a certain extent. I don't like that. I want to be able to say what what am I doing now if I'm using the phone? Am I being purposeful about it? And can I have the wherewithal to put it down? Am I actually addicted to this thing? I don't want to be addicted to it. And so I'm thinking through all of that. And so that's why I was like, well, I want to do the show on the New Jersey Transit. And this was like Wednesday, but I was just like, it's too loud. And then I would be contributing to the problem because I would be doing my show on the phone. So it's an evolving issue, I believe, right? So this poem was the poem of the day a couple of days ago from poets.org, and the poet is Christina Olivares, and the poem is called Preserving an Ecosystem, okay? And then the wind starts, all right. Preserving an ecosystem. Hired one summer, me, color, and 3 color girls to cut bushes and saplings, to preserve bushes and saplings. Who decides which? One of us asked. Machetes, clippers, saws. They explained that an invasive species is called that to make it... Let me start that again. They explain that an invasive species is called that to make the culling easier. Gold slanted, muddy, idyllic, and the heat licked the skinned. This is... So, I'm going to start over. So this poem is a paragraph, and it's all lowercase. And the periods actually seem like line breaks. So my apologies. It's not a long poem, but I think the rhythm of it is a little bit different from what I'm used to. All right, so let me try that again. Please hold. All right. Preserving an ecosystem. Hired one summer, me, color, and 3 color girls to cut bushes and saplings, to preserve bushes and saplings. Who decides which? One of us asked. Machetes, clippers, saws. They explained that an invasive species is called that to make the culling easier. Gold slanted, muddy, idyllic, and the heat licked the skin clean off our backs and faces. How strong we got, how we slept. The old farmhouse was overrun with field mice, so every morning and every night we baited 9 traps and flung 18 bodies into the field behind the house we decided wasn't theirs. How strong we became, how robust our appetite, how much we laughed, how clear we were, learning goodness, how to be good, executing all the deaths that goodness requires. Ooh, let's say that one more time. How clear we were, learning goodness, how to be good, executing all the deaths that goodness requires. All right, and that was Preserving an Ecosystem by Christina Olivares. That last line is very, very powerful. Okay, so this last poem before we close out and burn up is definitely a poem of the day from the Poetry Foundation. Okay, this one is called MASH by Cush Thompson. And it opens with a quote, okay? MASH by Cush Thompson. I have imagined our children, forgive me. And that is Sierra D. Mulder, Love Forgive Me. You will tell your babies someday of the little house behind the wall clock. They will love most the part about the window, sloped inside a 6's hollow silhouettes of Sunday's shadows having dinner. How they walked along the edges of hands at night, skipping pebbles made of minutes. Your ex-girlfriend lives in the same time zone, but you will call her too many years ago. The more the story gets retold, the more goes missing. A mother to only the imaginary. Together you named a baby after what didn't happen, and there is no limb for that. Instead, you will love on opposite ends of a compass to quiet the lacuna between your two suns. Sometimes the swinging needle could almost be a hand, but you know better than to reach for it when you talk about the little house you lie and say you miss it. You remember snow where there wasn't any, a dog asleep in the yard, dripping springtime, and nostalgic forgetting. Sometimes in the middle of the night, you will watch yourself walk outside of a hole inside a clock, and it will be like you never left. Oh, some really great images in these poems, right? Silhouettes of Sundays and a mother to only the imaginary, right? Nice. Okay. All right. So thank you to anyone that watches the playback, whether it's here on Instagram, and we've also got the channel over on YouTube. Woo! It's hot as hell out here. I am Deanne Battle, and this has been the Composite Season 4, Episode 2. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you back here on Tuesday. Take care. Ooh. Oh, I'm never going to get this right. All right, bye.